Hey everybody, welcome back to today's edition of Notre Dame Daily. And you know by now, because it happened yesterday, pretty much minutes after I posted yesterday's show, which gave you, if you missed it, it's still there. Obviously, I gave my thoughts on the Notre Dame football program landing the commitments of studs Kari Adams and Joey O'Brien in that future secondary. Minutes after, Notre Dame lands another major commitment. It's Central Catholic tight end Preston Fryel. The first from his position to commit to Marcus Freeman and the Irish. I think many of us saw that coming between having the conversations about Fryel and Evan Jacobson. So Notre Dame, who began its recruitment of the Ohio product in May, seemingly closed that deal in recent days, and they now land a tight end who's already started to draw some early comparisons to former Irish tight end Tyler Eifert, which is pretty cool. And I think from the makeup and the production and the versatility at that position, I think it does make a lot of sense. 6'4", 220, chose the Irish over Miami and Iowa. And based on his activity on his X account via social media the past couple of days, he couldn't be happier with this decision. And that emotion is obviously mirrored in his future team, the Fighting Irish. What this does here for this positional group, you know, I've said it many times, Marcus Freeman wanted to obviously get the tight end, probably wants to in the 26 class. But the landing of Fryel puts a nice stamp on the incredible work Notre Dame has done on the recruiting trail the last week. You know, you have now Fryel with that recent run that includes the 5-star in O'Brien. The 4-star should be 5-star, in my opinion, in Adams, and 4-star offensive lineman Grayson McHugh. This is a big deal. It's monstrous. And the Irish aren't done. And you're going to have coming up announcements from Caden Finley July 4th. Devin Fitzgerald will announce his decision on the 5th. And Braden Robinson later in July on the 20th. Not to mention the pending decisions by defensive tackle Elijah Golden, which we expect will come in the next few weeks. Notre Dame could absolutely find itself in even better position than they are right now with this 26 class, and that is obviously very impressive when you realize and you sort of recap all of the great work they have done to this point. It's been fun to watch, and as I just said, you got to stay tuned because the door on the 26 class is not shut yet. Want to continue with these player profiles with the 8 portal entries ahead of the 25 season for Notre Dame. And I want to focus on Jalen Strowman today. 4 years at Vatech before coming here, though he didn't play last season, past the season opener against Vanderbilt due to injury. Special teamer in 21, blossomed into the quintessential reliable player who was one of the leading tacklers on a subpar Virginia Tech team. I think that's fair to say in 22 and 23. Started 7 games for the Hokies in 23, 55 tackles, 2 for loss, and 4 pass breakups. He's 6'1", 205, so he's got solid size there, and he's a sound tackler who can hammer people. And I think that's what you want in that secondary, to have grown men back there who have the capability to just jar that football loose. His brother Greg played in the NFL, so the lineage is there. Spent some time with the Redskins and last year with the New York Giants. So you do have that bit of a pipeline there for a Notre Dame team that has a relatively young secondary going into what we expect will be another season where they make a run toward the college football playoff championship game. The fit here, as many of these do, make a lot of sense. Strowman's going to slot in to a free safety group that includes Luke Talich, presumptive starter perhaps, and true freshman Jadon Blair. Many view Luke as that starter, though Strowman could very well earn his way into that role sooner rather than later, especially as we continue to go through the summer. When you take his ball and tackling skills, it does scream starting 11, but Notre Dame, while young back there, is loaded with talent. But the thing I like most about him is his versatility in that second and third level. When you talk about having experience, it's not always just how many years you've spent on a given team or with a given program. It's the different positions that you are able to play, and not just play, but produce at a high level. You've got a kid in Strowman who's got experience playing at nickel, free, and in the box. So what does that mean for a coaching staff? Well, it affords them the ability to move him around as they see fit while holding on to the confidence that no matter where we put this young man, he'll be productive and he's not going to be a liability. All right, you have the budding star in Blair. You know what you have in Talich, and another season of a Don Schuler back there as well. Again, it's a young group, but the talent is undeniable. And you can never have too much versatility and physicality. Strowman brings that. You don't have Xavier Watts anymore, NFL. You don't have Rod Hurd back there, okay? With now Watts, a third-round draft pick in April to the Atlanta Falcons, and Hurd getting some interest from NFL teams after going undrafted. So having leadership and consistency is a plus. Strowman also brings that. He knows how to command a group. He did it at Vatech, and the Irish are going to have to rely heavily on that this season. You have the portal addition of Devontae Smith, who I'll talk more about. That helps the secondary as well. So the leadership is there, but I think the key here for Strowman is the versatility. Able to slot into different positions in that defensive secondary. That's a big deal for a Notre Dame group who has really had some high-level playmakers the past few seasons under Marcus Freeman, and even before that in its secondary. Came in late last night, or late afternoon, I should say. Some number changes just to keep you all abreast if you're looking at the updated depth charts and whatnot, wherever you may be getting them. So I just want to wrap. There were a few number changes heading into the season for Notre Dame football. Rising star corner Christian Gray, the type of season he had last year, and the development was there. Big-time playmaker. He's going to go from 29 to 6 this season. Wideout Jerome Bettis Jr. makes the flip from 83 to 15. The stud young linebacker Bryce Young, who I've spoken about on the show a couple times, is going to wear 95. He wore 30, of course, last season. Cam Williams, the redshirt freshman, who you'd love to see more of from everything we've seen in his tape and on film coming into Notre Dame, is going to go from 17 to 5. The kid's an athletic freak. Tay Johnson, redshirt safety, expected to see more playing time behind Adon Schuler. This season, he's going to wear number 9. And you get another wide receiver, Xavier Southall, was going to wear number 31. Southall, the son of former Notre Dame corner Cornelius Southall. He wore 80 last season. And Tyler Buckner rounds out this group. He returns to the quarterback position, as we know, as a graduate, swaps from 26 to number 10. So just in case you were looking at some depth chart information or what have you, rosters from top to bottom, some number changes there for the Irish football players heading into the summer and into next season. So that puts a bow on today's show. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Like I said, tomorrow's player preview, Devontae Smith, the transfer defensive back out of Alabama. We'll break that down and how he fits into this Notre Dame secondary, because as good as Strowman is, the fit with Smith might be even better. We'll talk about that tomorrow on Notre Dame Daily. Have a great rest of yours, and as always, go Irish.